Hey Staten Island, this is HealthWish, a conversation about the state of healthcare in the fabulous 5th Borough. Our aim is to raise issues, raise awareness, and raise health. Because when we raise health, we raise everyone. Talk about fired up. Today, we're with some of New York's bravest from Engine Company 155, Ladder 78 in New Brighton, including Staten Island Borough Commander Chief Kevin Woods and Division 8 Commander Chief Brian Gorman. We're learning about how firefighters are trained and how firefighter Robert Ryan was the inspiration behind a toy drive that brings holiday joy to kids in the hospital and the community. We even pick up a few fire prevention and safety tips. Give a listen.
Good afternoon, everybody. We're coming to you live from Engine 155, Ladder 78, also known as the Hot Corner, where we're going to discuss the partnership between Staten Island University Hospital, the Fdny, how we've worked together over the years, including the fantastic toy drive that the members of Engine 155 and Ladder 78 have done. Around the table, we have a couple of active and retired members. We have Eddie, Kevin, Chief Gorman, Chief Woods, Ken, Kevin, and Dominic. And I'm Frank Morisano, Senior Director of Community Health at Staten Island University Hospital. I'm also a registered nurse, and I'm also a retired New York City firefighter. Worked at Engine 28, Ladder 11 in Manhattan. Well, let's get started. We're going to talk to Chief Gorman and Chief Woods. Chief Woods is the Staten Island Borough Commander. Chief Gorman is the Division 8 Commander. So just tell us a little bit about how well trained your whole team is.
So here on Staten Island, we have 19 firehouses. We interact with every community on Staten Island. We also serve, the Staten Island Borough Command serves Brooklyn as well, Southwest Brooklyn. We have 12 firehouses there. Neighborhoods such as Bay Ridge, Bensonhurst, Coney Island, Sunset Park. And I mention those neighborhoods because if those people are in need of a burn center, they will use the Staten Island University Burn Center, geographically where it's located. It's extremely challenging to become a New York City firefighter. Right now we have 270 probies at our fire academy. They go through 18 weeks of rigorous training, very physical job, very demanding job. So in the fire service, just as we sit here, from the day they go into that fire academy, there's a sense of team building. Team building begins at the fire academy, ends up in the firehouse at the kitchen table. We sit down, we talk, we have coffee. There's a lot of team building, a lot of trust. After every fire that we have, we come back and have a critique at this table. It could be informal, it could be formal. And how do we improve going to the next fire? We'll ask ourselves a couple of questions. What went well? What didn't go so well? And we're pretty humble people. How could we do better the next time, right? We're decision makers. We make a lot of decisions on the fire ground, and you can't be afraid to make a mistake. Mistakes are made, and we improve from those mistakes. I think New York City gets a great bang for their buck with New York City firefighters. Our job is an extremely, extremely dangerous job, and if you don't have any sort of teamwork or any sort of trust, you're not going to have a good outcome.
And I'm glad you mentioned that it's a firehouse. And the reason that we call it a firehouse is that we all do live together. You notice we're sitting around a kitchen table. There's 5 or 6 guys around a table. We have the rest of the firehouse behind us. You come to depend on each other, and breaking bread together, cooking together, it really is a team building exercise. And when we always stand up for each other, no matter what it is, in the firehouse or at home. That's one of the main reasons we're sitting around this beautiful table that is built in memory of Lieutenant Bobby Ryan, who was a member that was lost in the line of duty. So different neighborhoods on Staten Island. Either chief, types of fires and emergencies do you guys respond to on Staten Island now?
As you're out on the South Shore, private dwelling fires, and a lot of the houses now are built with apartments, so you have a lot of apartment fires. In certain areas we have project fires, and then in certain areas we now have high-rise fires. I would say most of the fires on Staten Island would probably be all residential. You do get commercial fires here and there, but again, most of our probably burn injuries are in residential fires. I would say a lot of them start from cooking carelessness. During the very cold months, you do get the space heater problems. During the hot months, the air conditioner is overloading and taxing the electric system. But sometimes there's no rhyme or reason. You never know what you're gonna get.
And also Staten Island, a lot of brush fires?
Yes, a lot of brush fires.
And a lot of responses to emergencies. What other types of emergencies besides fire do you guys respond to?
Number one is emergency medical calls. You know, you're having a heart attack. They realize that the fire department, strategically located, can get there quicker than an ambulance. So by joining the two together, It cut down on their golden time in order to get help quick. Water leaks, car accidents, you name it, we go. Gas leaks, just about pretty much anything.
Some people are shocked that when you call 911, we took over EMS. They came under the fire department umbrella 25 years ago. So you call 911 anywhere in this city, there'll be a fire engine or a fire truck in front of your building or house of place of business in about 4 minutes. So don't be surprised if you call for chest pains and there's a fire engine in front of your house working on the patient. All of our engine companies on Staten Island, we have 17 engine companies. We have 197 engine companies citywide. Every one of those members are CFRD certified. That's certified first responder, and they defib. And they get the ball rolling prior to our EMTs and paramedics rolling up. And back to the original question, we respond to anything. You call us, we're going to respond. We are problem solvers, and we'll figure it out.
So let's change tactics a little bit. I'm looking at the retired members and the current members. We built a partnership with this particular firehouse. Well, our burn unit opened in 1998, but back when Lieutenant Bobby Ryan first got injured, he was burned pretty severely, and he spent some time in our burn unit. And after he came out, Bobby led the charge to basically build the toy drive that goes on until today. So tell us a little bit about how Bobby motivated you guys to do that toy drive and how it continues today. So I'm looking at Kevin and Dominic.
He got burnt, and he got to the burn center. First of all, the way he was treated took over his emotions, everything. But he also saw these kids that were getting treated there. And that's what really got him started on the toy drive. He felt so guilty that these poor kids are in a burn center. Meanwhile, he's in there too. He's getting treated. So he met Dr. Cooper. He talked about doing a toy drive. And it was 1 or 2 years is when he had his passing, his line of duty death. And it happened November 23rd. And obviously Christmas is in December. The toy drive is in December. We continued it that year. We already had everything in place because of what he did. So it was pretty easy for us to continue that. Now, once he passed, we took the ball ourselves, the firehouse, and said, well, we're going to honor him. We're going to keep it going. And Brian was the captain at the time, and he told me, set something up that the new people come in, you already have it set up, just go and do it, and it makes it a lot easier. So obviously now I'm retired, Dominic takes over.
So Dominic, tell us how that transition was. How'd you find it?
Well, I mean, it's a good transition because I have all the brothers in the house to help me out that have already had that experience with doing the toy drive. So basically it's passed on to me, and I find it to be an honor to take it over. You know, it's more about remembering Bobby Ryan, having that legacy and continuing that legacy on. I didn't have the pleasure of getting to work with him or getting to know him. So now for me, being a newer guy, I get to live on that legacy for him and continue it with all the guys and all the members of the house. So the transition, it may be a little much to take on, you know, it's a responsibility to take on, but with everybody's support around me, it's pretty easy, honestly, and it's a pleasure to do so for the kids.
And the people that you affect are not just the people in the burn unit and pediatrics, because I've been around the hospital for 32 years and I've seen you guys since the inception. I know a bunch of you guys from outside this forum. Either Kevin and I have been friends for a pretty long time. The good that the toy drive does, you know, if we have pediatric burn patients, yes, also our pediatric unit. And something that you guys probably don't know, if there's not enough kids in the hospital to take the toys, we actually distribute it out to the community. And you know, I was involved in one of the methadone clinics in one of my previous jobs. And you know, the kids of the patients in the methadone clinics who might not have had any toys have also benefited from the generosity that you guys have done. So our partnership with the burn unit, and it, you know, came through, you know, Bobby's experience of a burn. I know, you know, firefighters, we're at high risk for burns. We save people with burns. Does anybody want to share their story? Chief Woods, I know you were burnt once or twice in the line of duty.
Yes, about 30 years ago, I was a firefighter in Engine 201 in Sunset Park, Brooklyn. I received burns on my legs, my knees, my hands, my neck, my face. I ended up spending about a month in Cornell and skin grafts on my legs. Back then, Staten Island University Burn Center wasn't around. If that happens today, I would have been transported to Staten Island University Hospital and received excellent care as well. So with that, back then, our turnout gear consisted of a coat, rubber boots, and a helmet, gloves, breathing apparatus. Today, we are fully encapsulated with bunker pants. We didn't have bunker pants back then. Burn injuries are down, but we're firefighters. There are still going to be burns to firefighters. We also have something called the Nomex hood. We didn't have a hood back then. It covers your ears, your neck, and around your face. So we've come a long way. We have the best gear that money can buy. Right now, we're researching the best breathing apparatus. In the FDNY, we are at the forefront for cancer awareness for our members. And it starts with the breathing apparatus. It starts with cleaning that gear. All the station wear that the members are wearing today, they wash it before they go home. Other departments from all over the world look to see what the FDNY is doing. We don't try to save money on gear. It's extremely important. Our people are number one.
Frank, I also spent a little time in the Staten Island Burn Center. I got burned about 20 years ago, caught in a flashover. I had the newer gear than Kevin had. I'm not as old as Kevin. And the burn center on Staten Island was open at that time, and they had brought me and my lieutenant at the time to there. And even though we were all turtled up, as they say, with all the gear on, I still ended up with some burns on our ears and then on our backs through the coat, wherever the tanks weren't. But again, great job, great people, and it was nice to have something close to home when you all get in that situation, that now your family is not trekking all the way up to Cornell if they live here. It is hard on the families too when somebody is in there and it's a long way off. So it was nice to have it.
And it's usually a long-term stay when you're in the burn unit. It's not an overnight stay. It's usually weeks, and as in your case, up to a month.
Yeah.
It's rough. So the best way to stop a burn is to prevent a fire and prevent the burn. Could you tell us what the efforts throughout New York City, and in particular on Staten Island, is to educate our communities on how just to do that, prevent fires and fire safety, God forbid there is a fire?
Right, fire prevention and fire safety education is extremely important. The top 4 causes of fires are electrical, smoking, cooking carelessness, the stove right behind us, and candles. So with electrical, we highly recommend you do not use an extension cord for a space heater. When you heat that room, you shut that space heater off prior to going to bed, and when you leave that room, and you have to give a space heater space. You have to have 3 feet of space around a space heater. A lot of fires start from space heaters. We're leading into air conditioning season. You can't use an extension cord with an air conditioner, with a refrigerator. Anything that gets hot or cold uses a tremendous amount of electricity, and you cannot use an extension cord with these devices. A power strip is an extension cord. It's an extension of that outlet. It's an extension of that circuit. So leading into number 2, smoking. The number 1 cause of fire fatalities for senior citizens is smoking. Same with candles. We treat them like space heaters. Most candles, you have to extinguish the candle before leaving the room. You have to give them space as well. Most fires that start from candles are started when the room is unoccupied and the candle is still lit. During December and January, it's the biggest time of the year for candle fires and space heaters. Right now, Chief Gorman and myself, the other night, we were at an event for the Jewish community, and we serve all communities, and we understand the needs, the sensitivity of the community as well. They have burning of the bread on April 15th. We will be there with, it's a 4-hour event with a lot of activity, and we coordinate with the community, we coordinate with the other agencies as well. And again, with the seniors. Anybody that wants to have a fire safety education presentation, you can go online, fdny.org, FDNY Smart. You could register electronically to have an event in your school, in your hospital, anywhere, and we will be glad to come out. You can come to the firehouse. We will have something in the firehouse for local school children if you coordinate that. Once a year, we have an open house in every firehouse in the city. We have 212 firehouses. We open the doors to the public for hours at a time. We interact with the public. We show them the apparatus. We talk about what we do. We might give them a demonstration. And of course, we'll have literature on fire safety and fire prevention. That is tremendous.
We do a lot of events in the community, my team, and as always, the fire prevention team has a truck set up, and it seems to be pretty effective in the community as well. So, and you guys could jump in on us anytime. I mean, my time on a fire department, albeit short, was spent around the kitchen table just like this. And we built a very similar table, and fortunately, we didn't have to dedicate it to the memory of anyone in our firehouse. So, our hearts go out to that. But you have to be tough to sit around a kitchen table in a firehouse. And I think that's indicative of how close we are. Tell us what your feeling is. Any of you guys can jump in. Your feelings are how the kitchen table brings you guys closer together and makes you a better team.
Well, for one thing, the truck's a better cook than the engine. throughout the job. You know that.
Is anybody a
I don't
kitchen
know.
cook here? Anybody a firehouse cook in the room?
Pooches. Pooch is a good cook.
Yeah. So when you're the cook, you're running the show in here. It doesn't matter if Chief Woods is here, Chief Gorman, you're in charge. So.
In the kitchen, yes.
He's still active. I'm sorry.
Especially we're in a double house, he's in a truck, so it's nice. You know, when we have meals, brings everybody together. Then, like you said, we'll, you know, after we eat, we'll talk about, you know, if we had any, you know, jobs recently.
Yeah, you critique each other too. You know, this is, you know, I know we have drills, and it's 1 or 2 drills a day now. What is
We drill every day, twice a day, even more than twice a day. We've had familiarization drills, you know, with your assistants in the hospital, right? Every time we have new members, we will reach out to Frank, have a familiarization drill for the hospital to understand the hazards and just the layout of the hospital. And we've also had full-scale exercises in your hospital as well. And what we do there is we'll simulate a fire or an emergency, of course, not disrupting operations during off hours. And we look to see how our people operate, but we also look to see how your people operate.
Next time, we learn how the FDNY and the hospital conduct joint training exercises to improve safety for both teams. And the men share fond memories of their fallen brother, Lieutenant Robert Ryan. Don't miss it. HealthWish wishes to thank our very special guests: Staten Island Borough Commander Chief Kevin Woods, Division 8 Commander Chief Brian Gorman, and the Bravest from Engine Company 155, Ladder 78. We're very interested in your health wish. Contact us at healthwish@northwell.edu. Thanks for joining us. We hope to see you again soon.